Georgia. Georgia. Where is Georgia? What is their history like? What type of food do they eat? Is this Georgian cuisine?
All this and more on Post-Soviet State Number 1.
Georgia is a country sandwiched in between Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, the Black Sea, and located in the Caucasus region and the Lesser Caucasus region.
Sorry for the change in audio, I just had to switch mics right quick. So, the country of Georgia only has about 4 cities: Tbilisi, Batumi, Kutaisi, and Rustavi. Now, obviously, 4 cities is nothing when compared to California's cities, which is 482, with Tbilisi being the capital, of course, and also where most of the history for Georgia is. For the purpose of this video, we're mainly going to be focusing on Tbilisi. Here is the weather in Tbilisi mainly, which makes me very envious. Now, the fact that they have good weather and just a beautiful country, seriously, look at this mountain. Whoa, that's a good looking mountain. I have no idea what I'm currently showing on screen. But enough about the land and where it's located. Let's talk about the people within it.
Alright, let's get into the fun part of the video. The history! Edwin, play like a little intro. Let's just start right at our story. This guy named George, alright, we don't really care about him too much, but he has a daughter named Tamar. Now, Tamar is a woman. Basically like a Disney princess, if a Disney princess was actually useful. Like Mulan, but way cooler. She led the Georgian Golden Age. Her father installed a meritocracy. Noblemen were getting mad that their titles and their wealth and their land were given and distributed to the poor. So the noblemen forced her to get rid of the meritocracy. She was forced to marry this dude named Yuri. He ended up being a really good warrior, but he was a terrible man. He was apparently a really bad drunkard. Just get fits of rage. Basically Demo Man. Demo Man wasn't cool. And worst of all, he was a homosexual. Okay, so it's not really known how much of this is true and how much of this is propaganda. And the nobleman, fortunately enough, let her divorce him. Not very, par of the time, you know, it's not very status quo. And then, she was allowed to marry whoever she wanted. David Selslin, I think. He was way better than Yuri. And speaking of Yuri, Yuri said, "There can be only one!" And started a revolt, which then David crushed. And he did it again. And you know what David did? He crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. After that, they went to war against the Azerbaijanis and then freed the Armenians, because Armenia was like their best friend at the time. This really cool epic poem called A Knight in the Panther's Skin was written. Now, the person that wrote A Knight in Panther's Skin was Shota Rusveli. I think it talks about Tamar a little bit and is kind of directly inspired by her. This is the new map of Georgia, and that's how it stayed forever, and nothing ever happened again. You know, Georgia, it's been the same ever since, you know, nothing bad ever happened.
And the Mongols just invaded most of the universe.
Oh no! Yeah, so unfortunately when the Mongols came, they destroyed so much that I don't even really have anything to talk about during the Mongol invasion. I can tell you that they pillaged the countryside, but unfortunately a lot of that history is lost because the Mongols, you know, they come in, they destroy everything. So a lot of the history was lost during the Mongol invasion. Funny. There's nothing funny about me saying why. Why are you laughing for no reason? No, I don't like this. Stop. Why? What? Stop! It's currently 1:26 p.m. This is on Sunday. Mustafa was supposed to do his part. He didn't. So I'm gonna speed run what he was meant to do. Georgia Independence Day is celebrated on May 26th. It honors the 26th May. be honest, the 26th May 2018. That's when the act of independence from the Soviet Union. It celebrates with a military parade, speeches from the president, prime minister, and other government officials. There's a flag hosting where they raise Georgian flag. There's fireworks, contests, and exhibits. Victory Day. Georgia, this is one of the many countries that celebrate this day, including Russia, Botswana, Herzegovina, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Serbia, Israel, and Mongolia. It celebrates the surrender of Nazi Germany at the end of World War II in 1945. They celebrate it by laying flowers in the front of the grave of an unknown soldier in Vake Park, dedicated to the soldier who and died. Mustafa. Day of Svetislava, celebrated on October 14th. It is dedicated to the Svetli Cathedral, the Living Pillars Cathedral, located in Georgia's historical town of Miskete. People don traditional costumes and dance, sing, and enjoy delicious Georgian cuisine. Georgian cuisine is honestly amazing. St. Mary's Day. It is celebrated on August 28th, where Georgian Orthodox Christians join Eastern Orthodox followers from around the world to commemorate the feast of Dormin Mary, the Mother of God, and commemorates Mary's falling asleep or her death and ascension into heaven. They celebrate by attending a church mass. Karapuchi. Now, I actually know a little bit about Karapuchi. If you're American, you call it Georgian pizza. It's just this bread filled with cheese, and a raw egg is in the middle. It's kind of not raw. It kind of is raw. I don't know how else to explain it. You mix it in. You eat that stuff. Never tried it though. Want to try it. Very desperately. Kinkali is. I'm gonna explain it quickly as just European dumplings. Georgian wine. Georgia is literally known for its wine. It's where wine was invented. Fun fact. Kind of. I mean, wine was invented everywhere, but it did it first. Midok is a Russian honey cake, but it's specific to specific regions because Slavics like to trade around their foods. Pinkali, it's this eggplant. Chopped eggplant, mixed vegetables made of cabbage, and there's for some reason pomegranate on top. Yeah, okay, that's the speed run over. Hopefully I got it in time. Bye. Figure out this.
Bro, Dutch had the plans to build the barn. He was like, Arthur!
A massive Russian military machine, thousands of Russian troops, and a great deal of military hardware is now firmly in control of South Ossetia.
Georgia contributes a fair number of peacekeepers to the war in Iraq. Georgia also is set to become a member of NATO.
All heading towards the Senaki base, a Georgian base, now occupied by the Russians, about 5 kilometers away from here, down this road.
Outside of the Georgians and Russians themselves, there are two other ethnic groups in the region who in many ways were at the center of this conflict. The Ossetian people, they remain one of the very few Iranian ethnic groups inside of Europe and are surrounded by Caucasian, Turkic, and Slavic groups. The other important group here to consider are the Abkhazians, who live within the region of Abkhazia in northwestern Georgia. Like the Georgians, they are a Caucasian ethnic group.
2008. August 1st, at 8:05, a Georgian police car was blown up by a makeshift bomb, wounding 5 police officers. There was a lot of build-up to this, to the eventual Russo-Georgian War. A lot, and I do mean a lot of build-up.
The next week only saw minor fighting and skirmishes between the two sides until, on the 7th of August, in order to stop the artillery strikes on their villages, the Georgian government sent tanks and troops to enter South Ossetia and to take over the city of Skinvali, widely regarded as South Ossetia's de facto capital. Then, Russia claims that in response to Georgia's aggression invading South Ossetia, the Russian army was deployed to attack the Georgians around Skinvali in order to defend the South Ossetians from a genocide and to enforce the peace.
Although the Russians were quite uncoordinated and, lousy, sounds familiar, they outnumbered the Georgians and ended up just overpowering them.
During the war, the South Ossetians destroyed most ethnic Georgian villages within their territory and forcefully deported nearly all of the remaining Georgians out, an action that has been widely labeled across the international community as ethnic cleansing.
On the Russian, South Ossetia, and Abkhazian side, a total of 163 to 170 were killed, 354 wounded, 1 missing, and 39 captured, according to Russia. And on the Georgian side, according to Georgia, a total of 180 were killed, 1,174 wounded, 4 missing, and 49 captured. Civilian casualties, 162 in South Ossetia, according to Russia. According to Georgia, 224 civilians were killed, and 15 are missing, and 547 were injured. And many, many people are still displaced to this day. If this sounds at all like Ukraine, it's because it was basically the prequel to Ukraine. Unfortunately, I do not think I can go in depth with any of this, or else I might get expelled, to be honest. It's some really deep stuff. And also, for the sake of time, because this video is already going to be long enough as is, but who cares, it's my video. I think I've already stated what I feel about my grade. With that being said, let's talk about where Georgia is today. Georgia today is a very amazing nation. Georgia today is a very strong nation that is very weak by Russia and is really still in a war with Russia, if anything. They don't have any political relations officially with Russia. Of course, I think they still do trade through another neighbor of theirs. Ever since the Russo-Georgian War, the borders of South Ossetia have increased slightly to touch the Supsa pipeline. So now Russia can put pressure on them to stop that pipeline because, of course. And also, Georgia has given us one of the funniest YouTubers in Eastern Europe.
This e-girl sent me a DM saying she's in Georgia. Could she really be here? Or is she a catfish?
Gatsu. He's actually the reason I made this video. He was just a really funny YouTuber, to be honest. Georgia today is about like S tier when it comes to Eastern Europe. And yes, it is Europe. I know this is technically about Asia, but let's be honest, it's Europe. But it is, of course, in Eastern Europe, which permanently plagues it to be a developing nation. Although, in all fairness, it is a tax haven, so there's that. Overall, I do fear for Georgia's future, and mainly because Russia. There's this really sweet video out there of this Abkhazian blogger who who went out with a sign saying, "I am Abkhazian, and if you think we're brothers, hug me." So it's a funny story. This Abkhazian blogger, he actually said that he thinks that Abkhazia should be part of Georgia, and he's not allowed in Abkhazia under the word of treason. So now he's just kind of vibing in Georgia. Kind of a W, honestly.
The thing is, every day there's too much of a likelihood of waking up and being told that you have to kill the Russians now. Maybe I'm just biased, because in the last 35 years, Georgia's been invaded by Russia 4 times,